let me just briefly play. We're going to put all of my Radigan from yesterday on the members show. But I want to play this clip because I was on the program with Imogen Lloyd Webber, who I guess is Andrew Lloyd Webber's daughter. She's British. And very nice. But I got into it with George Pataki, who was also on the program. And the idea, that... And I could appreciate where Radigan's coming from. He likes to try and talk about. He likes to have deference to people who he considers intellectually honest brokers. So he was at least bringing on Tom Coburn, who came on earlier in the program, and applauding him for at least being intellectually honest enough to realize that we need to raise revenues in spite of the fact that Coburn's been targeted by Grover Norquist. And fine, I have some measure of respect to that. And he thought that Pataki would also be one of these guys. And from my perspective, Pataki was not. He's just a shill, lying douche. And that's not a technical term. And Pataki, what really got me is that during the break, we did 2 segments. So we'll play the first segment. Like I say, I'll put it on the post show, and we'll have it at our YouTube. But Pataki, we got into an argument about whether or not there was a Simpson-Bowles report. I said there is no Simpson-Bowles report. They didn't have 14 out of 18 people ratify it. There is no report. There's simply a letter that Simpson and Bowles happened to send. There was no bipartisan report. And then during a break, Pataki's talking about how he's got a farm on a lake. The farm is on a lake, upstate. That's nice. I don't begrudge anybody that. But the glibness from which he moved from that to poo-pooing the potential suffering of people if Medicare was cut, if Social Security was cut, I couldn't deal with it. I got angry. Not so angry. I don't think I came off as angry in the video. But I got Pataki pissed off enough so that after the segment ended, he looked across the table at me in front of everybody and said, "Do you really believe what you're saying?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, I can't believe it because you don't look that stupid." A former governor of New York State. And I cannot tell you just how happy I was when he said that, because I just knew that I had fucked with him. And the thing is, sometimes they whisper in your ear, "rap," and you can hear it. And it's not necessarily for me. It could be for anybody who's talking. It's just the segments get a rap. And this is where I use my radio skills to just basically jump in, get a zinger at the end, and just nail Pataki. It was quite enjoyable. All right, so let's cut in this clip where Radigan is just about to turn to me.
I personally, again, I return to the fact that we are revenue starved in a way that we haven't been for over 60 years. And the thing that's interesting to me is when we talk about restructuring debt, when you talk about cutting Medicare, when you talk about raising the retirement age, when you talk about cutting Social Security or raising retirement age, that's in fact what you're doing.
I know.
You are reneging
well aware.
on a contract you had with those people, and you are raiding money that has been paid into the system. And by talking about it in a different way, you can look at the idea of not meeting those obligations as something is
you're totally right.
But when you talk about cutting Social Security, nobody has a problem.
Over here, William first.
You get the last one. I think it's a very creative idea, but until you get an actual default, which may be coming August 2nd.
This is a guy named William Cohen who has written a book about Goldman Sachs. He's sort of left-leaning. Just coincidentally, it was the first time I had seen him in 35 years. He's the older brother of a guy I knew in Worcester. Just coincidentally. But go ahead.
Second, look what's going on in the bond market. Have you checked the bond market lately? It's going crazy.
I know.
It's flight to safety. Until you have a real default, which may be coming August 2nd, talk of restructuring
is premature.
One thing on the bond, admitting what you're...
This is my point. Radigan's talking about restructuring our debt obligations in terms of maybe just basically saying, more or less defaulting on part of it, saying, to people, we're only going to pay a certain percentage of what we owe. And Cohen is saying, we can't talk about that until we actually default. But my argument is when we say we're going to cut Social Security or we're going to cut Medicare, that's in fact what we're doing. We are doing something that is unthinkable to people in the financial markets, but we're simply doing it to the middle class. In that case, it's not only thinkable, it's responsible. Defaulting to those people who have put into Social Security, defaulting to those people who have anticipated Medicare, defaulting to the American people who rely on these programs to keep them out of poverty. 2/3 of our elderly are kept out of poverty by Social Security. God knows how many are kept out of poverty because they have health insurance. When we talk about that, it's not default, it's not restructuring, it's responsibility. All right, Pataki's coming up.
Admitting that the U.S. can't pay its debts as if it were GM is, GM looks good now too, but it's after it shed
but
billions
I guess
and
what
billions
I'm
of
saying,
liabilities.
and I agree with Sam on this, is that America is paying its debts right now, Governor, but it's doing it from the least politically represented people. It's paying its debts by taking away the smallest amount of assistance for its poorest people. It's paying its debts by seeking to restructure things like Medicare and Social Security. It's paying its debts through the 20% unemployment that is created in the housing market, in the employment markets after bailing out the banks but refusing to restructure the housing debt. We are restructuring our debt, but we're doing it on the weakest and least politically represented.
We're not.
You get the last word.
We're not restructuring our debt. We're spending ourselves into oblivion, and we've just seen the growth of entitlements like Obamacare, massive increase in discretionary spending that is unsustainable. And by the way, Dylan, you obviously have been paying a lot of attention to President Obama because you created this brilliant straw man. Millions of people dying on the streets, or we restructure.
Understand. Now, Pataki's got this big, smug-ass smile as he's saying this. And you can hear when he was talking about the Affordable Care Act. I mean, listen, I'm not the world's biggest fan of it, but it clearly does cut expenses. It cuts the deficit when you go 10 years out. And so he's now smugly saying, you're creating this straw man, people dying on the streets of Medicare, laughing about it. Continue.
Oh, I did that. Well, I did that for your benefit. I put on a little show.
Sam is in favor of the millions dying in the streets. I think I would be against that.
But there's actually a tremendous amount of pain out there now.
Yeah.
Of course there is,
and it's not an exaggeration. It's not an exaggeration to say so. I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's a big difference between retiring at age 65 or 67 or getting health care at 65 or 67. And you would have people go out into the private insurance market to get that, so that bondholders and other wealthy in this country can have to pay their share of taxes.
My time is now. This has been absolutely sensational. William, I appreciate you coming and injecting yourself to madness. Governor, I appreciate you helping to engage the debate and drive the madness. Same goes for you, Sam and Imogen. And when I say madness, what I actually really mean is I feel like I've been part of one of the more interesting and compelling debates on debt that I've had since I started this debate on this show. And that's a testament to the four of you, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Imogen Lloyd-Webber, Sam Seder, former Governor Pataki, and William Cohan.
And on the video, of course, you can see how smug Pataki looks and how pissed he was afterwards when he looks across the table at me and says, you don't look so stupid.